to thousands of migratory including a large flamingo populations. The salinity has particularly increased in the half of the lake north of the Urmia Lake Bridge. By virtue of its high salinity, the lake no longer sustains any fish species. Nonetheless, Urmia Lake is considered a significant natural habitat of Urmia, which serve as food source for the migratory birds such as flamingos. 28. In early 2013, the then head of the Iranian Urmia Research Center was quoted that Urmia had gone extinct due to the drastic increases in salinity. However, this assessment has been contradicted. 29. And another population of this species has recently been discovered in the Koyashkoy Salt Lake at the Crimean Peninsula. 30. Falling level and increasing salinity. The lake is a major barrier between Urmia and Tabriz, two of the most important cities in the provinces of West Azerbaijan and East Azerbaijan. A project to build a highway across the lake was initiated in the 1970s but was abandoned after the Iranian Revolution of 1979, leaving a 15 kilometers (9.3 mi) causeway with an unbridged gap. The project was revived in the early 2000s, and was completed in November 2008 with the opening of the 1.5 kilometer (0.93 mi) Urmia Lake Bridge across the remaining gap. 31. The highly saline environment is already heavily rusting the steel on the bridge despite anti-corrosion treatment. Experts have warned that the construction of the causeway and bridge, together with a series of ecological factors, will eventually lead to the drying up of the lake, turning it into a salt marsh, which will adversely affect the climate of the region. Lake Urmia has been shrinking for a long time, with an annual evaporation rate of 0.6 to 1 m, 24 to 39 in. Although measures are now being taken to reverse the trend. 32. The lake has shrunk by 60% and could disappear entirely. 32. Only 5% of the lake's water remains. 33. On the 2nd of August, 2012, Muhammad Javad Muhammadazadeh, the head of Iran's Environment Protection Organization, announced that Armenia had agreed to transfer water from Armenia to counter the critical falling Lake Urmia's water level, remarking that hot weather and a lack of precipitation have brought the lake to its lowest water levels ever recorded. He added that recovery plans for the lake included the transfer of bridge construction over Lake Urmia in 2005 water from eastern Azerbaijan province. Previously, Iranian authorities had announced a plan to transfer water from the Aras River, which borders Iran and Azerbaijan, but the $950 billion man plan was abandoned due to Azerbaijan's objections. 34. Satellite imagery from 1984 to 2018 revealing Lake Urmia's diminishing surface area. In July 2014, Iran President Hassan Rouhani approved plans for a 14 trillion rial program, over $500 million, in the first year of our recovery plan. The money is supposed to be used for water management, reducing farmers' water use, and environmental restoration. Several months earlier, in March 2014, Iran's Department of Environment and the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, issued a plan to save the lake and the nearby wetland, which called for spending $225 million in the first year and $1.3 billion overall for restoration. 35. Starting in 2016, Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, and Urmia Lake Restoration Program, ULRP, signed up to a project funded by the government of Japan entitled an Integrated Program for Sustainable Water Resources Management in the Lake Urmia Basin to support ULRP in its goal to restore Lake Urmia. The project set out a multidisciplinary framework covering several key interrelated areas and aims to have 5 outputs. 1. An advanced water accounting (WA) system for the entire Lake Urmia Basin. 2. A drought management system based on risk/vulnerability assessment and preparedness response for the basin. 3. A socio-economic livelihood program with viable and sustainable alternatives to current agricultural activities upstream of the lake to reduce water consumption significantly while maintaining the income and livelihood of affected communities. 4. An integrated watershed management (WM) program, a capacity development program to strengthen stakeholders at different levels. The Silver Dam in Piranshara County should be complete in 2015. Through a tunnel and canals it will transfer up to 121,700,000 m3, 98,700 acre-foot, of water annually from the Laven River in the Little Basin to Lake Urmia Basin. 36, 37. In 2015, President Hassan Rouhani's cabinet approved $660 million for improving irrigation systems and steps to combat desertification. 10. In September 2018, a working group tasked with reviving Lake Urmia has started to grow 2 types of plants to save the region from salt particles. The 2 plants are Nitraria or Carida and Tamarix or Shorgus, which are planted on the land of Jabal Khandi village in Urmia County, to slow down the wind that brings with itself the salt particles. 38. Environmental protests. The prospect that Lake Urmia might dry up entirely has drawn protests in Iran and abroad, directed at both regional and national governments. Protests flared in late August 2011 after the Iranian parliament voted not to provide funds to channel water from the Aras River to raise the lake level. 39, 40. Apparently parliament proposed instead to relocate people living around Urmia Lake. 40. More than 30 activists were detained on the 24th of August 2011 during an iftar meal. 40. In the absence of a right to protest publicly in Iran, protesters have incorporated their messages into chants at football matches. 39, 41. On the 25th of August, several soccer fans were detained before and after the Tabriz derby match between Tractor Sazi FC and Sharadri Tabriz FC for shouting slogans in favor of protecting the lake, including Urmia Lake is dying. The Majlis, Parliament, orders its execution. 39, 40, 42, 43. Further demonstrations took place in the streets of Tabriz and Urmia on the 27th of August and 3 September 2011. 39, 41, 44. Amateur video from these events showed riot police on motorcycles attacking apparently peaceful protesters. 41, 45. According to the governor of West Azerbaijan, at least 60 supporters of the lake were arrested in Urmia, and dozens in Tabriz, because they had not applied for a permit to organize a demonstration. 46. The effect of climate change on the lake has been extensively covered by an Iranian photojournalist Somas Dariani. 47, 48, 49, 50, 51. Islands. Lake Urmia had approximately 102 islands. 52. Shahai Island was historically the lake's largest. However, it became a peninsula connected to the eastern shore when the lake level dropped. 3. 53. Shahai Island is the burial place of both Hulagu Khan, one of Genghis Khan's grandsons, and of Hulagu Sanabaka. Both Khans were buried in a castle above 1,000 foot, 300 m, cliffs along the shore of the island. 54. In 1967, the Iranian Department of Environment sent a team of scientists to study the ecology of Shahai Island. Various results of the study, which included the breeding habits of brine shrimp, were published by Javed Hashmi in the scientific journal Iranian Scientific Sokhan. A herd of Iranian antelope and gazelle were introduced into the islands, some of which survive to the present day. The Persian leopards that we also introduced to check the number of these antelopes survived for years, going extinct sometime in the early 1980s. Basin rivers. Lake Urmia is fed by 13 permanent rivers and many small springs, as well as rainfall directly into the lake. 3. Nearly half the inflow comes from the Zarine River and Simine River. 3. There is no outflow from the lake, so water is only lost through evaporation. 3. Ajiche, Alamla River, Barandaus River, Gaydar River, Gi River, Milan River, Mahabad River, Naisla River, Rosaire River, Shaha River, Simine River, Zarine River, Zola River. In popular culture, Lake Urmia was the setting of the Iranian film The White Meadows, 2009, which featured fantastic-looking lands adjacent to a salt sea. There are many popular songs about Lake Urmia in Azerbaijani language, such as Urmia Gol Urmia Lake Research Program, Urmia Lake Restoration Program, ULRP, by Sharif University of Technology with the following goals. Sad Smiley 55, documenting the experiences and lessons.
Good. I did finish reading, but I have already read it some weeks ago. But I'm going to make a video about it in my language, Danish, about how many parts of our world is turning to desert because of the climate change and droughts. So I was supposed to make some video about it in English. I will do that in the future, but now I like to do it in my language, Danish, about this lake.